G'day everyone, what is going on? It is your favorite producer from Down Under, Jhin, back with another video. And in this one, I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a brass or trumpet sample for artists such as Young Thug or Gunna inside of FL Studio. Now for those who don't know, it is my birthday next week on Tuesday the 17th. So if you can do me a great favor, and if you are enjoying the content, punch that subscribe button and also hit the bell. That would be the greatest present you guys can get me. Also, friendly reminder that I do stream live over on Kick, so if you do want to catch up with the shenanigans, I go live over there every single night from 10 PM AEST, which is around 7 AM Eastern. But with that one being said, let's get into FL Studio and let's deconstruct this sample. Okay, so here we are inside of FL Studio, and as you can see, just like majority of my samples, not much is happening with this one. We only have 4 elements. Now, if you are going to be making a brass sample for artists such as Young Thug or Gunna inside of FL Studio, it obviously makes sense that you need to have a really good brass library. The one I ended up using is Horns of Hell by Sonoscore. So no surprise when it comes to the first instrument, it just so happens to come from Kontakt, and just so happens to be Horns of Hell, the full staccato bank. Now we are at a BPM of 130 in the key of B minor, so it also makes sense that our first chord also so happens to be a B minor, which consists of this B, this D, and this F sharp. But having a triad, it just felt a bit weak. I wanted to add some more chords to it, some more notes, just make it sound a bit more powerful. So what we ended up doing is we added in this A, this B, and this D. The next chord that comes in is actually this G major, which consists of this G, this B, and this D, top notes being this G and this B yet again. But in context, we end up with a pattern that sounds like so. You know, it's really simple, but just having those stabs and nothing else in the break, to me, just felt like something was missing. So, surprise, surprise, who would have thought? I went into Kontakt and I actually grabbed this full sustains bank from Horns of Hell. Who would have thought? It seems to be Horns of Hell is like a really good bank. This video is not sponsored, by the way. But yeah, all we did is we got the exact same chords from the staccato, but we obviously just sustained it. So this B minor, which consists of this B, this D, and this F sharp, and then the top notes being B and F sharp yet again, and this G major, which consists of this G, this B, and this D, top notes being F sharp and D. But in context, we end up with something that sounds like so. You know, we have the staccato, which is really bouncy, but then suddenly we have these long sustained chords, and it's suddenly just, you know, like, oh, it's gone from being really bouncy to, oh, it's suddenly gone evil, like, oh, what's happening? Oh, there's a lot of suspense all of a sudden. Going on to the effects though with the horns, they're both getting routed to insert one. First of all, we're panning it to the right a little bit. A Valhalla vintage verb comes in where the mix is on 19.7%, pre-delay is 0, decay is 1.19 seconds, attack is 0%, and a low cut of 120 because we do not want to reverb the low end. An RC20 comes in where we're using the Vinyl 3 preset. All we did is we changed the noise and distort knobs a little bit. A sound shifter comes in where we're actually pitching it down a semitone. This one is actually being automated on and off. Now, the reason I did it this way instead of actually in the piano roll is this bank through Kontakt, some notes actually cut off once you go to a certain pitch, a certain frequency. So doing it this way, it actually works better. Last but not least, we do have an EQ that comes in where we're getting rid of a lot of the low end and just some of the highs. The next instrument that comes in from Kontakt yet again. And this one is the Nor Pure Basic Pure preset. All we are doing with this one is just playing a really simple yet pretty bouncy bass line where we start off with this B over 2 octaves, then we actually go down to this F sharp instead of the G. Might sound a little bit weird, but it will make sense. Then we go to this G and we end it on this D. That one gets copied and pasted over again, but in context, it sounds like so. Now, the reason I did this is where the staccato is, which is the B. Then over here, we do have the sustain, but if I was just to play the exact same note again, it would just feel a bit stale. So I found a note that actually worked. In this case is the F sharp. Then this is where the G major is. So we're actually putting in the right root note with this one. This is where the sustain is, but if we did G yet again, it would just feel a bit bland, a bit stale. So I found another note that works pretty well. In this case, it's the D. In context altogether, it actually sounds like so. You know, really simple, but really nice as well. The effects with the piano, all we have is an EQ where we're getting rid of some of the lows and some of the highs. Last but not least, the last element that we have comes in from Kontakt yet again. And this one is the violins 2 staccato from Sonoscore, the orchestra. Now you're ready to see this really complicated pattern. We're doing runs of the chords. Now what I mean is with the first chord being B minor, we start with the B, then we stutter to the D, then we go up to the F sharp. With G major being the second one, we have G to B to D. We're doing up runs. Now to make it sound a little bit different, so it's not the exact same thing repeating over and over again, we have another pattern with this violin where we go down instead of up. Subtle changes can actually make a big difference. Going on to the effects with this violin though, there is literally nothing on it. Every instrument though gets routed to insert 4, which is this melody bus where an RC20 comes in where we're using the trifreeze preset. Now if you do want to cop this preset completely for free, download link to it will be in the description. And last but not least, we have a fab filter EQ come in. We're getting rid of some of the low ends, then we're doing a dip on the low end here, and then just a subtle boost. The reason I did this is I wanted the sample to sound a bit vintage, and the greatest way to do that is by getting rid of the low end. Now, if you use a plugin such as Vinyl by iZotope, when you change its year setting going from 1980, 70, 60, 50, 40, you can actually hear that the low end is actually being taken out of it, and it's just an easy way to make a sample feel a bit old, and that's what I wanted to go with this one. But yeah, that is how you can easily make a vintage brass sample for artists such as Young Thug or Gunna inside of FL Studio. If you are new here yet again, would greatly appreciate it if you do punch that subscribe button for me. And while you're at it, flick that little bell so you get notified every single time that I upload a video. But with that one being said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next week for another video.